What if the strongest martial warrior in history didn't disappear because he lost, but because he was tired of war? What if a legend chose to live quietly, hiding from a world that once feared him? This is the story of a warrior who once stood above all others. And the day destiny forced him to rise again. Long ago, there was a warrior whose power was so great that entire armies feared facing him. Kingdoms whispered his name. Enemies avoided battles if they even heard he might be nearby. He was not just a fighter. He was a symbol of absolute strength. But power like that comes with a heavy price. Endless battles, endless enemies, and a life filled with bloodshed slowly made him question everything. Instead of chasing glory, he made a choice no one expected. He disappeared, he left behind the world of war and became someone else entirely. He chose to live quietly inside a peaceful martial arts academy. There, he trained students, taught discipline, and lived a simple life. No one around him truly knew who he was. To them, he was just a calm, skilled teacher who believed strength should only be used to protect, never to destroy. For the first time in his life, he experienced peace. Days were filled with training young students who dreamed of becoming warriors. Evenings were calm, filled with laughter, tea, and simple conversations. Slowly, the memories of war began to fade. He started believing that maybe, just maybe, his life of fighting was truly over. But peace never lasts forever, especially for someone with a past like his. Far away, a powerful force was rising. Territory after territory began falling under their control. Martial schools were destroyed. Villages were forced to submit. Anyone who resisted was crushed. Fear started spreading across regions, and soon that fear reached the academy where the hidden legend lived. At first, it was just rumors. Then came warnings, and finally came the attack. One day, enemies stormed the academy without warning. Students who had only trained for discipline suddenly found themselves fighting for survival. Teachers tried their best to defend the academy, but they were outmatched. Chaos spread everywhere. Buildings were damaged. Students were injured. Fear filled the air. Watching all of this, something inside the hidden warrior woke up. For years, he had refused to return to the world of violence, but seeing his students scared yet still trying to protect each other reminded him of who he truly was. He realized that sometimes fighting is not about pride or power. Sometimes fighting is about protection. And in that moment, the legend returned. When he stepped forward, everything changed. His movements were calm, controlled, and terrifyingly powerful. Every strike was precise. Every move ended battles instantly. The enemies who had arrived full of confidence quickly realized they were facing something far beyond normal skill. Fear replaced their arrogance. Within moments, the academy was saved. But this victory came with a cost. His identity was no longer hidden. The world would soon know that the legendary warrior was still alive. Among the attackers was someone important, the daughter of the force leading this conquest. She had grown up believing power was everything. To her, the strong ruled and the weak obeyed. But seeing this warrior fight only to protect others confused her. He had strength beyond imagination. Yet he didn't seek domination. That moment planted doubt inside her heart. As time passed, their paths kept crossing. Each meeting revealed more truth. She began seeing the destruction caused by endless conquest, burned homes, broken families, people living in constant fear. Slowly, she started questioning everything she was raised to believe. Meanwhile, the warrior understood one thing clearly. Defending the academy once was not enough. The enemy would return, stronger and more prepared. If he truly wanted to protect his peaceful life and his students, he needed to end the threat completely. So he stepped back into the world he once left behind, the journey to the enemies. Territory was filled with battles. Each fight tested him. Years of peace had made him calmer, but also less connected to the brutal world of war. Still, his spirit remained strong. Along the way, people who had suffered under the same enemy joined him. Villagers, warriors, and even former enemies became allies. Finally, the last battle arrived in a harsh territory ruled through fear. Massive armies gathered. The air felt heavy. Like the world itself, new history was about to change. The battle was massive. Soldiers clashed across the battlefield. Strategies unfolded like a deadly game of chess. At the center stood the warrior who once dominated the martial world. But this time he wasn't fighting for fame. He wasn't fighting to prove he was the strongest. He was fighting for peace. For his home, for his students. The enemy leaders believed legends belonged to the past. They believed no one could stand against their empire. They were wrong. One by one, their strongest fighters fell. Their army formations broke. Fear spread across their forces. The legend they thought was gone had returned. And this time he was unstoppable. But victory demanded sacrifice. The power he used was never meant to last forever. Every technique drained his life force. Every burst of godlike strength pushed him closer to his limit. By the time the battle ended and the enemy was defeated, he could feel it. His legendary power was gone. When the war ended, many expected him to take control of the martial world again. Some thought he would build an empire. Others believed he would rule as the strongest warrior alive. But he chose something else. He went back home, back to the academy, back to peace, back to the life he truly wanted. Without his godlike power, he became something even greater, a teacher who understood both strength and weakness. He trained the next generation not just to fight, but to protect. He taught them that real strength is knowing when not to fight. The daughter of the former enemy also chose a new path. She helped rebuild what her people had destroyed. Slowly, the cycle of hatred began to break. Years passed, the world changed, new warriors rose. Old legends became stories told to inspire future generations. But those who knew the truth understood something important. The greatest warrior of their era didn't disappear. He simply chose peace, and somewhere inside a peaceful academy filled with laughter and hope, a former legend lived happily, knowing that sometimes the greatest victory is not winning a war, but protecting the life you love. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing drama stories and hidden legends.